All right, I've got a problem. This is a 2015 Subaru Forester. Got like 138,000 miles. And when I go to use my windshield wipers, look at how weak that spray is. It's terrible. So we're gonna fix that today. It's a pretty common problem, and we're gonna take a look at how to repair that. All right, for this job, you guys are gonna need a new like Y joint for the windshield wiper line. So typically you can find a bag of these for like $8 online, or you can get one from the dealership for, you know, $6 or $7. So choice is yours. I'll leave a link to these in the description. They've worked great. Like a pair of needle nose pliers is going to do you good. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to really recommend you have a plastic pry tool. If not, you can use something like a screwdriver or flat tip with electrical tape, just so you're not scratching up or gouging anything that you don't really want to be. And then, importantly, you're going to need a wrench with a 15mm socket. This is going to be for removing the windshield wipers arms. This is not an optional. You are going to need to take those arms off. So make sure you've got these tools handy. And honestly, that's really all you need for this. All right, so first step, we're going to have to remove our windshield wipers. These have just a plastic cap on them. You can see the ridge. Either use, you know, plastic pry tool, or, you know, if you don't have one, take a flat tip, smallest one you got. Wrap the tip in some electrical tape or something that'll hold up, and you're gonna want to slip it, you know, right in between the grooves. And it's a plastic bit, so it's much easier with two hands. But you get the idea. These will pop off. All right, after you've got the cover off, it'll look like this down in there. You're gonna take your 15mm socket. This one comes off with the hood down. This one down here, it's a little trickier, so after you get this one off, put the hood up. You're gonna need the hood up for the rest of this anyways. I found when I was doing this, when I'm taking these off, they come off easier from the bolts when they're in this like service position. So if you fold it, there you go. It's really not too bad to just pop it up like that. And then there you go, you've got your wipers off. All right, and here comes the fun part. So my understanding is you've got one of these guys here, fastener there, and then all of these are also fasteners. And those fasteners are secured under, they're like a clip-in. So what I think I'm gonna do is use like a needle nose plier to pinch that on the bottom, and then kind of leverage from the top to pop them out. And they go all the way down this cowl, and then it's capped off again with one of those fasteners. So let's give that a try and see what we get to. All right, quick update. When you go to pull these out, if you've got a plastic pry tool like this, you just stick it underneath. You just ease it out. I just dropped that down in the engine bay. That is never coming back. If somebody knows a better way, shoot a comment down below, but this is what it looks like when they come out. What I found worked decently well is getting underneath that like round lip. Yeah, I know, I broke this one. But these will just pop right back in. So set these aside when you're done with them. Try to break as few of them as you can. Sounds like a lot of people just break them when they're pulling them off. Try to be better than that, but you know, these things happen. They do come like shooting out when they do come out, so try to get them to not fall into the engine bay like I did, and try not to break them like I did. All right, after you've successfully gotten all of your little tabs out there, and you definitely haven't broken any of them and gotten angry at yourself, you're gonna want to pull off, there's one of these in each corner. So it's a pop tab, which goes in there. And then there's a little piece that hangs on right about here. You just be careful, go gentle. what I did was I pried this part out first, so it kind of sits in there. Then you just gently pop it out, and then this you got to just give a little tug. Don't go too hard though. These are plastic pieces. These will break. I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, I didn't know that it was gonna break." It'll break if you mess with this enough. It'll break. So go easy on it. And of course, you go to put it all back together. It's just reverse engineering. So, yeah, one on each side. Get those out. All right, after you get those off, cowl should come off really easy. Just guide it out, because you've got the 2 holes from your wiper motors, and it should come out. Now, while you're in here, it's interesting to look. This is your cabin air intake. While you're in here and while you got this all apart, you know, clean it out a little bit. You got gunk building up there, probably gunk on the other side building up. Just, you know, take a look. Get curious. You know, this is how we learn things. And so the culprit for all these issues is going to be right here. Now, you can see that big giant hole? That's why your shit's spraying everywhere. Or not, you know, it's not spraying out of your nozzles as it should be. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's a little connect here. When you're pulling this off, it's connected right here. Just be gentle. It's another plastic piece that will break on you if you mess around with it too much. Just gently pull it apart. It doesn't matter which end this nozzle piece ends up on. It just matters that it comes apart. So just get this off. We'll get to fishing all this out in a second. All right, we've got this on the workbench now. So what I've done is I've snaked this out. This was underneath and came out of that hole there. But this will give you a much better view of this wide joint. And look at that. That's why it's not working. So this is the piece we need to replace. Take very careful note of where things go. It's really not that hard, but take it from me. Take note of where things go. And we're going to go ahead and pull the rubber lines off of here. And from our eBay kit, or wherever kit, they send you a whole bunch. They send you like 16. It's a variety. But you'll see there's another Y joint. So we're going to go ahead, swap that Y joint in, and get it kitted up. Yeah, unsurprisingly, when we go ahead and pull this, or try to pull this out gently, it'll break and leave you absolutely nothing to work with there. Go slow, be patient, get some needle nose pliers or something, you know, that can fit snugly up in there, and then just get it out. Just take your time with it, just get it out. There we go. This is the source of your woes. This piece of junk. So what I've done is, this one's pulled off, went ahead, got it up. Let's go ahead and get these hooked back up to where they belong and put everything back together. All right, so we are all back together. Our inline is going back out from where it came from. So let's go ahead and get everybody put back together. Be patient with this. Be patient. You know, make sure you're all lined up to where it needs to be. Make sure these tabs are all lined up, and all of those tabs that you didn't break, you know, make sure that they've got a home to go into. I'm gonna look at ways to resecure those if, you know, theoretically you broke all your tabs, which I definitely didn't. And, you know, we'll look at creative solutions on how to resecure those if you did in fact break some tabs. And before you button everything back up, what I would recommend is just giving it a look at that. These haven't worked that well since I got the car. I'm thrilled with this. So just do a little test run, make sure it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. What I would also do is just, if you've got a spotter, say to somebody, hey, could you just check, make sure there's not windshield wiper fluid pissing all out of the cowl here, and you know, they'll tell you, yeah, you did a great job, or no, it's not doing its thing. So yeah, definitely do a little test run before you get everything put back together, because you will be mad at yourself if you put it back together and it's not working. What I would recommend when you're buttoning everything back up, first things first, I would throw in this or the other side. Make sure that your cowl is actually flush, you know, and there's not like gaps or anything, because there's plastic retainers that kind of hold it tight against the glass. Just make sure that those are, you know, underneath the glass, not above the glass. And this piece of plastic, you know, is running flush with the windshield. So do this side, and then do the other side, and then work on getting, you know, the plastic piece that goes up here and the other side, and then all of your nice intact clips. Those will go back together after that. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Zip tie. That is gonna hold this just as well as anything. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna look like that, but it's going to do the job of holding that in place. And honestly, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier when you need to go back in and replace the other one, because you can just cut those off. So yeah, you're going to want to go ahead, get your arms back on. I start them out in the service position. For some reason, they seem to want to go on easier that way. There might be something to that. Yeah, make sure you're nice and snug and lined up well. You know, when the arm goes down, make sure it's where it should be. Yeah. And we are all back together, guys. Honestly, not the worst job ever. Those clips are a little annoying. You know, another note, make sure when you're putting the windshield wiper arms back on, before you tighten them down, make sure you're in the right position. Make sure these aren't like down here, or they're not like all the way up here. Make sure they're in a good concealed position when you're driving, but also not just like sitting on the plastic. I don't ask for anything really, but if you guys, you know, if this was helpful to you, please consider subscribing. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be really, really cool. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have any questions.